Hey everyone, it's Matt here. Welcome back to another episode of Savant's Tech Talk. The latest messaging apps have taken over our lives. Previously, the messaging system was different. The customers would have to subscribe to SMS service or pay a good amount of money to send text messages. Text messaging took a huge turn when apps got introduced for texting. Now, these apps would be similar to your text messaging, except for one thing. These texts were free. Free texting services opened another door of innovation. And we saw some brilliant text tools for both our desktops and laptops, as well as our mobile phones. First, we had Skype that allowed us to video call and text our contacts through desktop. Then applications like WhatsApp, Viber, WeChat, etc. came into being that were even better. We could use them on our mobile phones and text anyone from anywhere in the world without spending a single penny. And aside from these apps, there was another emerging app that was perfect to use. And that app is called Slack. Now, the Slack app is one of the coolest apps to use these days with its texting, file sharing, and other important features that make it important for businesses. In today's video, we're going to be discussing how to build an app like Slack, looking at some of the features that made Slack successful, as well as looking at the tech stack that is used by Slack. The tech stack that is used by Slack? Anyways, as always, if you enjoy these how to make an app like videos and want to see more of them, then let us know by hitting that like button and subscribing to this channel. Also, I'm curious, do you use Slack? Let us know in the comments down below. Let's jump into it. So, what is Slack? Well, Slack is a messaging app. And although it has many features that are similar to your typical messaging apps, it's different on some levels. Slack is primarily used by teams in their workplace across multiple platforms and devices. The features in this app would allow people to communicate not only one-on-one, but also in groups. Aside from this, Slack also allows file sharing amongst the contacts. It integrates with other apps and services as well. Many corporate office users prefer using Slack for the office-friendly user interface, and members can easily intercommunicate within the office through the app. Now, the Slack app's mechanism is quite interesting, and I'll be looking at some of the features that have helped to contribute to Slack's success before we look at the tech stack. Also, I just want to be clear that the point of this video is not to make an exact copy of Slack, but to look at Slack as an inspiration. For your app to become a success, it's best to have your own unique feature ideas or something unique to differentiate yourself from the market. But we're looking at what Slack has done and what has contributed to Slack's success. So let's jump into it. Now, the Slack app comes with loads of features. We're going to look at some of the apps that we think are pretty important for you to consider if you're considering building an app like Slack. Now, first, of course, is the sign up. Now, it's important to keep in mind that the sign up process should be easy, like Netflix, Facebook, and Instagram, for example. You can ask for basic details like contact, email, nickname, etc. And then there's settings. And the settings should also be kept minimal and easy. So start with the basics. You can add messaging preferences like theme, chat wallpaper, messages, customized emoji style, profile view, and other general settings like name and email, etc. And in the settings, Slack also has a billing system inside it. So you can set up billings, group chat settings, app integrations, and other directory options as well. And that brings us to customization. You can allow users to customize your Slack-like app the way that they want. You can let them choose images, nicknames, fonts, emojis, and other things. You can also allow them to update their about information, and you can let them edit their online status. When you look at the top right of Slack Messenger, you will notice a bell icon. And this bell is for the notifications. You can snooze the notifications if you don't want them, or you can even put a do not disturb snooze schedule on them. You can enable or disable several types of notifications. And there are some default notifications which the app created for users' preferences. And you can adjust those channels and their notifications by clicking on the name at the top of the screen. And the next feature that's a really interesting one is the starred messages. And funny enough, the starred messages is a shining feature in Slack. Whenever you star a text, it'll appear above the channels section. So in this way, you can make a separate portion for important text. Also, you can star channels, and the starred channels will move to the top of the channel list so they're easier to search. Speaking of channels, there's a section for channels near the sidebar. And you can also find these channels beneath your Slack team's name. And if you're wondering what channels are more like chat rooms. You can add a few people inside, and only those team members can converse with each other. Kind of like TV channels, these Slack channels can come with a topic, project, or really any goal. And you can create a public channel and allow others to contribute, or you can make a private channel where only a few members can contribute. Direct messages. Below the channel option on Slack, you'll see the direct message option on the left side of the sidebar, and it will show the names of people added to your Slack team. You can click on any of those names and start a one-to-one conversation with them. And if you click on the plus button that's present there on the same direct channel option, it will allow a new window to start a new conversation. Another very important feature to Slack is the admin rights. If you're the admin, then you can invite other people to join your team. And when you invite a member, you can choose from 3 options. You can choose full members, restricted accounts, or single channel guests. The full members have full access to the team directory, public channel files, and messaging. The restricted account ones can access the channels partially, and the single channel guest gives only limited access to the invited member, and they can only see files or text. And then there's the flex pane menu. And the flex pane menu inside Slack will give you information about all the unread or ignored messages, channel browsing, file browsing, information about groups, and almost every other feature that Slack has. And then of course there's file sharing, where you can allow users to communicate through sharing files like documents, images, files, videos, music, etc., etc. Also, like Slack, you can add a voice or video call feature for individual or group team members to enhance the experience. And then of course, contacts. Allow the users to share contacts with others in their contact list for better communication. So I think we've discussed enough about the features to give you an idea about the type of app that Slack is. So now let's look at the development stage. You also need to keep in mind what audience it is that you're targeting, as well as their ideology, location, demographic, as well as other similar metrics. I highly recommend that you make your app a cross-platform app so that you can target both iOS and Android users. So let's have a look at the front-end technology. I just want to say, if you're still with us, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. The front-end technology. On the front end, Slack uses a mix of JavaScript, ES6, and React for its web interface. And their Android client is written in a combination of Java and Kotlin. And then there's Swift and Objective-C for their iOS clients. The back-end technology. For fast and efficient texting, apps need to rely on the database and conversion. So this means that the Slack app has a complex back-end technology. The data is stored in MySQL using Vitess. The app uses Memcache and McRouter for the cache, while the search service is powered by SolarCloud with different Java services. The real-time messaging feature uses WebSockets and is written in Java and Go. For load balancing, the app uses HAProxy, and Console is used for configuration. The voice and video calling use Elixir service. Some services are written by Node, while the async task queue system is run by Kafka and Redis. gRPC is also used for inter-service connection, along with Thrift and JSON over HTTP. The core application and API are written in PHP Hacklang, powered by Hip Hop Virtual Machine. Slack is a great organizational app, and if you want to build a similar app, then you can do so by either hiring your own in-house team or by outsourcing the development. And if you've watched any of our other How to Make an App Like videos, then you know how strongly we urge you to begin by making a minimum viable product that only focuses on the bare minimum features and requirements that are needed for the core value proposition of your app. And this is so that you can start by gaining some traction and testing the market to see how users respond to your app, and also collect data. And who knows, maybe you'll see an opportunity to pivot. So there we have it. Do you have any ideas for an app like Slack? If you enjoyed this video or found it interesting, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching.